So off we went, on our way to nowhere, and nowhere would be exactly where we ended up. Parked by the train tracks, finishing off the rest of what had turned into several cases of alcohol at this point. Well, just as we were about to call it a day and limp ourselves back home, here comes the car thief, without the car. You could see the panic in his eyes, and there would be nothing we could do to help him this time. Apparently he thought that it would be a good idea to try and stay off the roads with the car. Now how he tried to do this is another thing altogether. He proceeds to explain that he had been just down the road at the crossing that we would hand out at. Apparently in his current condition he felt that he needed to take the train tracks over to where we were instead of trying to drive on the roads. This may not have been a terrible idea if he had meant that he was using the right-of-way along the side of the tracks, but that isn't quite what he had in mind. As you can probably imagine at this point, that is not what he did. So he continues explaining that he thought that the car was about the right width and that he doesn't understand what went wrong. He hasn't exactly told us what happened yet, but we are starting to get a pretty good idea. I still remember the look on everyone's faces as he confessed that he had tried to drive the car on the rails. He had been sure this would work because he had seen trucks do it, if that tells you anything about his mental capacity at this point. I remember hearing a gasp and an "oh no" from one of the girls as we heard the train horn from next crossing down. It was too late to help him now. As the screeches filled the air from the steel wheels of the locomotive filled the night sky, we waited intensely for the inevitable sound of his mother's car being crushed by the monstrous steel horse that was on its way, and we wouldn't be waiting long. I remember thinking it sounded like a bomb going off, and there was a chain of crunching crashes that followed. He had slipped off the tracks, and the car was sitting wheels hanging in the air off the rails. There was nothing he could have done. This was the end of our adventure for the day, but little did I know there were many more to come. The last thing I remember was dropping him off at the house and seeing his sister beating him like a little kid that had stolen a Barbie. We wouldn't see him again after that day for several years. I'm not sure how long he was locked up for this one, but it was definitely for quite some time. All I can say is that I'm thankful that he had not had anyone with him that night. If you enjoyed this true story, then please like and subscribe. I have several more that I'm quite sure will pique your interest that I will be releasing soon.